everyone! So today is a beautiful day here in New Brunswick and I am so excited because we are going to be getting raspberries today on our homestead. I have a neighbor, Pat, who has asked me if I wanted to come up and get some of her canes as she thins out her raspberry patch for the year, and she is a great gardener, her and her husband, and I'm so excited to learn from her. She's going to explain to me how she has such a beautiful raspberry patch and is going to show me what I can do so we can have some raspberries here on our homestead. And she asked me to come up before we were doing social distancing and things, so she said I still can come up. I'm just going to stay a good distance away from her and just listen, and she's gonna tell me everything that I need to know. And so she also said that I could bring you guys along and show you what we're doing. And so thanks for being here, and let's go get some raspberries. So I'm here at my neighbor Pat's raspberry patch, and she just has shared with me some information about how I can get my area ready for the raspberry canes. And so she's going to dig up the root bulbs of things like this guy who have come over into the aisle, and she's going to do that next week, but she has taught me today what I can do at home to get ready for the raspberries when she digs them up. So right now, today, she has showed me how she thins them, and so she thins hers in the spring. So she'll take out the things that are really woody and old. So like behind me, you can see that some of them are more woody and the bark has died on them, and those ones are the ones that have been here for 2 seasons, and so she'll take those out and just leave these nice red ones, and these are the ones that are going to produce fruit this year. So she's going through and cutting out things like this that were growing like behind me, you can see them, and just leaving the nice red ones. So this one produced fruit last year, but it won't be producing fruit this year, so we cut it at the base and get rid of it, and that leaves space for these new ones to come up and produce fruit. And then this year there'll be new canes coming up, and those will produce fruit for the next year. So it's a 2-year cycle, and you have to stay on top of that, but she does it in the spring so that she can tell which ones have died back and which ones she should be taking out, so she knows which ones to keep for growing fruit this year. And then so she's also told me how I should set things up. So she has a nice row and then an aisle, and in the aisle have something that's impermeable so that the plants can't grow up through. So things like this guy has grown up through the seam of, she has carpet down, and so I'm going to need to find something to put down that the raspberries won't grow through. So I'm very thankful to have neighbors that are willing to share their information and knowledge with me, and also they're willing to share their canes with me, which is awesome. And I'm really excited to get these growing back at our homestead. And so I'm gonna head home and look for a spot to get it all prepped up and take you guys with me and get the soil ready. And then next week I'll come and I'll get these from Pat and plant them at our house. So I'll bring you guys along and show you how it goes. So it's been a few days since I went to my neighbor's, and she showed me her raspberry patch and told me what I need to do to get ours ready. And so today I've decided that we're going to put our raspberry patch here in this location. I chose this location for a few reasons. One is because it's on a slight slope down towards our driveway, and my neighbor told me that her raspberries have done a lot better on the ones that were on a slight slope. When they're on a slope, it is helpful because the water drains off and the raspberries aren't sitting in a wet area, and so they do better. And that's good about this location. Also, this location, as you can tell today, it gets a lot of sun, and that's really helpful for the raspberries to grow. And also, this already has fencing on 2 sides of this location. And so behind me we have our riding arena, and beside me is our pasture, and so they're already fenced, so I'll only need to do 2 more sides of fencing. So today I'm going to be getting this area ready for the raspberries. We're going to be laying out the rows in the aisles. So the rows we're going to be making about 2 feet wide, and that's where the raspberries will go, and then the aisles will be about 3 feet wide. So initially my plan was to dig up the beds by hand with a shovel, but my grandfather came along, thankfully, with his tractor, and we just pushed the top layer of grass aside, so that made that work a lot faster. And now we're going to take that grass and push it aside and just put it in the compost pile, and we're going to be taking old compost and bring it in to fill up the beds. And then we're going to lay a log down around the edges just to keep the raspberries contained in their beds. So we've now finished putting the logs around each of our beds and have them all ready. And today I got to go up to my neighbor's house and she had left the canes for me there that she had dug up. So the canes look like this. They have the root attached to them and the branches. Some she gave me also just the root, and so I'm going to plant these and see how they do. I think I'll plant my ones that have the canes attached, just spread them out in that one top bed, and then plant these in between them, and hopefully over the next few years these will grow and just get thicker. And so to plant them, I'm just going to plant them, dig a little hole and stick them down just to cover the root bulb, so they won't need to be too deep, and then fill that hole in and let them grow. So now that I have the raspberries planted into the patch, I think I might water them a little bit just because the manure that I planted them in was pretty dry and the roots were pretty dry, I noticed when I was putting them in. So I think I'll put a little bit of water in them. But the only things I have left to do now are I need to put 2 posts on either end of this bed and run a wire or string along it so that there's 2 wires running along and I can tuck the canes in between them, and that keeps them from flopping outwards. And also when I was planting them, I tried to arrange them so they would be pointing more in than out if one was leaning. So for our posts, we just used trees that we took the limbs off of and sharpened on the end and put them in the ground. And we needed posts so that we could run a string along each side, and that way we can tuck the canes inside of the strings to help them keep them holding them up while they grow so they don't come out into the aisles. And so now that we have this done, we are pretty well all done. We just will be putting a fence around to keep any deer or the goats out. And we've just done this one bed with the raspberries this year. Our goal is for all 4 beds to eventually have raspberries. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful to you if you're looking to start a raspberry patch from scratch. If you are interested in more homesteading videos and gardening, please subscribe. We'd love to have you along. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.